Hello, Facebook world. I'm Kara Canuck. I'm one of the co-owners of Des Moines Moms Blog, and we are at the Science Center of Iowa today. And I have here Patrick Rice, and he is the Director of Learning Experiences, and we are in a new to Des Moines learning experience as far as the Science Center goes. So, can you tell us a little bit about where we are and what this room means?
Yeah, definitely. So we are in the new Innovation Lab, which just opened in June here at the Science Center of Iowa. We're really excited to be able to offer these new experiences to our participants. And this room is a very integral part of all of the summer of Make It SCI programs that we have going on this summer.
Yes, it's very cool. Okay, so this room has a lot going on, and it's kind of this new hidden gem. Can you talk us through what some of the things are that are in this room and some of the opportunities that kids have?
Yeah, definitely. The room is set up to be ever changing, so we're going to be doing lots of different themed workshops in here for our participants that is part of the general public. And then we also have our summer camp program going on here as well, so lots of people are getting these different experiences. This week we're focusing on teaching skills of coding and programming. So if you've been to the Science Center recently, you might have seen a Maker Morning activities starting from 10 to noon, where we introduce the skill of basic block coding. And then from that experience, after you teach the introductory skill, you can come into the workshop, register for the workshop, where you can expand on those skills and have a more self-directed experience.
Okay, so what are some of the ages of the kids that can come in and do some of these learning experiences?
Yeah, it's not just for kids.
Okay.
These experiences are very much multi-generational.
Okay.
We've had last week when we had our light painting activity where we learned about optics, and we did long range photography, long exposure photography.
Oh, yeah.
We had family groups in here. We had adults and grandparents and children all working together. We just had a grandparent and grandchild group in here a couple days ago learning block coding, so it's definitely available to all ages. If you are under the age of 13, we do ask that you have an adult with you though.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, I think there is a lot to see. So let's walk around a little bit and check out some of these new areas.
Let's start right over here.
Okay.
So these are my friends Shane and Chris right here. What are y'all working on?
Well, we've been working on some simple coding with a program called Scratch, and right now I'm working on a little bit of a video game, and Shane's described his as a experience in storytelling.
A story, yeah. It's a short story.
Gotcha. Can you show us some of the coding?
Yeah, absolutely. So all the colored blocks have we have different looks, different motion. We can have sound trigger different events. So each one of mine, these are called sprites, each one of these have a different set of code for what they're going to do, and different things trigger different things. So if I click, it'll kind of start my sequence and everything will go all at once, but it's actually about 3 different screens going.
Awesome. So I have an 8-year-old. Is this something that he would be able to come in and attend a workshop on?
He'd probably do a better job at block coding than you might.
I'm sure that's probably true.
For some reason, it's so much more intuitive to that age, and just that they don't get as frustrated that quickly when they find something that doesn't work. It's just, delete this, try it again, and they're a lot more willing to learn from their mistakes. I, an adult man, don't like to learn from my mistakes.
And this is one great program to, if you've never done any coding, have any coding experience whatsoever, block-based coding is a great entry point. And it's also teaching our participants that the skills for the workforce for the future, because we know that coding and robotics and programming is not going to go away.
No.
So everybody needs to learn these experiences, or have these experiences, and learn the basics of understanding how coding and programming operates. So
yeah, this is a great way to just kind of introduce some of these things and see how you can generate an interest and some creativity in learning there.
Definitely.
Very cool. All right, what's next on our tour?
Well, right over here we have my friend Katie. And Katie, what are you working on?
I am practicing my soldering for next week's Maker Morning activity and workshop. We're doing circuitry and circuit bending at some points, and my technique's still a little sloppy, so I'm practicing putting 2 wires together and using the solder to attach them to create a strong circuit.
Awesome.
That looks really cool. I am impressed. I can successfully say that I could benefit from each one of these different workshops.
Definitely. And just like our skills that we're learning with coding and programming, we want to make sure that we're not forgetting all the skills that are still important, such as sewing and definitely soldering as well.
Yes, I think, yeah, there's definitely opportunities for kids to learn those type of things too.
Definitely.
Okay.
All right, our next station is way over here with my other friend named Katie. Katie, what are you working on?
I'm working on 3D pens this week. We have a Create 3D camp with our summer camps, and this is some of the stuff that they've made. A lot of these are kind of 2D, but they're all using this 3D filament. This one kind of became more of a 3D object. It's a pretty neat dolphin.
Yeah.
And then, so what they do is they kind of design what they want to make, and then they use the pen, and you feed in the filament, and then it heats up to the right temperature, and then it comes out as kind of like a gel, and then you can make what you want.
Very cool.
That is neat.
So yeah, so our summer, like I mentioned earlier, our summer camp program has access to this space as well. So with our 3D Create 3D camp going on this week, we have our 3D printer going on with projects that they've designed, as well as experiencing with the 3D pen. And I love that you have the sketches over there, because that's such an integral part of that creative design process of being able to sketch out what you do prior to just jumping in and building something.
Right. I think it's a super cool opportunity for kids to see that their like flat drawings get turned into something that are 3D and real in life.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's a really cool technology.
Eventually she'll be able to make the Eiffel Tower.
Well, there you go.
Aspirations.
Very fun.
Nice. Right next to us is my friend Paige, and she looks like she might be in the virtual world right now, kind of exploring what VR has in store for us. So we've done a couple presentations with virtual reality, with talking about expanding beyond just being in a game with virtual reality. We're speaking with some architects, and they were saying how integral virtual reality has been in their profession, because they're able to physically put the client into what the building will look like, into the actual lobby of what they're seeing.
Wow.
So taking something that is from paper, traditionally has been on paper, or small models, but actually being able to put the client into that room and what it would look like and the experience that it would have. So this is a great opportunity for people to get some experience with the virtual world outside of just gaming.
Well, and I think really, like, it's cool to see some of these technologies come to life in a way that kids might have only seen on TV or in movies, and to be able to have hands-on experience to learn some of these skills and to be able to experience the technology. So yeah, that's a really cool opportunity for kids to come into.
Nice. All right, let's go visit my friend Jolie over here. She has lots of scary wires out on the table. What are you working on?
Well, I have kind of two parts that I'm working on. The first is called a microbit, and a microbit is an example of a microcontroller, and it has buttons on it. It has built-in buttons, and it has sensors that are inside of it, and I can code this on its own. It actually has a code inside of it right now, and it's telling me, for example, to press button A. So if I press button A, it does something. So now it's telling me to press button B, and this is a code that's already been downloaded into the microbit, and now it does something else. And then you can play games on here. This is, it says if I shake it, then it does something else. So it has all kinds of sensors to it. So that in itself is pretty exciting, the microbit. But what we can do also with this Hummingbird kit is I can plug this microbit into this Arduino right here, and now I can code this Arduino to do lots of things. So I'm building this code on here so that I can store information in this microbit to control things like motors or LED lights. This is a servo motor, and we have different sensors and different things it can do, and I can code for all of that using the microbit into the Arduino.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
My son, again, who's 8, really loves the little tool, like the kits that come with the circuits where you can, build these things. And this just takes it to a whole nother level.
And it's a great expansion of what you learned over here with Chris and Shane, because it uses a very similar block-based coding system. But what's nice is on this product is that you can toggle over and you can see your program written in JavaScript. So you can be learning in block-based coding how to do something that you can toggle over and see what does that look like in an actual coding language. So you begin to learn it, and then you can toggle back to your blocks and code for it that way. So it's a great transition from using Scratch into applying more things.
Right. What age range do you typically recommend for something like that?
I would say that beginning with microbit, probably 3rd grade and above, would be a really safe way to begin.
That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And everything that you've seen today are examples of different themed weeks that we're going to be hosting this summer. This week, we have coding and programming going on with our Scratch programming behind us. Next week, we have our circuitry lesson where we're going to be learning about solder. Future weeks include virtual reality, 3D, creating with 3D, as well as working with robotics. So definitely check us out this summer.
Yeah, and some of the just kind of basic nuts and bolts. So as far as attending workshops, it's day of registration. So you come into the Science Center and then you just come in person and sign up for what you want to do. Is there like a list on the website as to like what the workshops are?
There are. So you can access our website at sciowa.org and go under the Make It SCI information, and each themed week is listed there.
Okay, and so hours for workshops. Okay, so I have Monday through Thursday at 1, and those typically are like an hour-ish, hour and a half?
It really is participant-led. So
Okay.
we've had some workshops that last an hour. Some have gone a little closer to 2 hours, depending on how invested you are in the topic that or the theme that we're working on. So we've had our sewing lesson our first week. Some of those extended into 90 minutes.
Okay, very cool. So yeah, so we have Monday through Thursday, 1 o'clock, Fridays at 11, Saturdays, 11 o'clock. So there's 2 workshops, 11 and 1, and then Sunday is kind of an open day from 1 to 3.
Yeah, definitely. If we want to go back to this back table over here, Sundays we're doing things a little bit different. We are presenting open making hours from 1 to 3 on Sunday, and the challenge is working with helping pollinators. We know that pollinators have declined worldwide, and so these are examples of different activities that have been created on these Sundays during open making hours of figuring out ways to teach people how to help pollinators. So this is an example of a board game where the honeybee is trying to get to the flower, but there's lots of obstacles that they have to overcome. So it's a way to educate people through a board game on the needs that a pollinator have.
That's super fun. Our family really enjoys learning more about pollinators too, and we have a couple of monarch caterpillars that we're currently feeding and gathering milkweed for all the time. Okay, well, very good. You can check out all of the information that we had about this new room and Maker Labs and all of those different things at sciowa.org. Couple of upcoming items we have for the Science Center. So I know July 16th through the 20th, you guys are doing some things surrounding the Apollo 50th anniversary, so make sure you go and you check out what's coming up there. And then Labor Day, mark your calendars for the Des Moines Mini Maker Fair, and that is a lot of fun too. Last but not least, the giveaway. So if you are interested in coming and experiencing some of the different workshops and the things that the Science Center of Iowa has to offer, we want you to go ahead, and we would love to have you like or love, and then comment in the comment section on something that you would love to do at the Science Center if you haven't been here before, or some of the things that you really enjoy at the Science Center. And we'll be giving away a parent and child admission, 2 sets of those. So we will be running that giveaway, so make sure that you participate in it. Do we have any questions or anything that I've...
There was a question about the coding program. I think it was Scratch, and if that's something that once you work on it here that you could have that program at home.
Definitely, yep. So Scratch is a free online program through MIT, and we are teaching people how to, given the introduction into that program, but all you have to do is create an account. The reason why you have to be 13 or above to be in the workshop by yourself, or have an adult with you if you're under that, is because you are required to have an email address, and so if you're under the age of 13, as long as you have an adult, that can do that for you, that would be fantastic. But that is something that once you learn the skills, build something here, you can take that experience back home and continue to add on to it.
All right, very good. Thank you everybody for watching, and I hope that you come into the Science Center of Iowa soon.